Ladies, be glad you're not stuck in Afghanistan, because the ISIS jihadis there would murder you for so much as mentioning women's rights. And then, after they murdered you, I would post a video about you being murdered, and some pencil-neck safe spacer on the YouTube Trust and Safety team would ban me for pointing out that you got murdered by jihadis in the name of Allah. So, stay away from Afghanistan, where another women's rights activist was killed earlier today. Reuters reports. Islamic State claimed responsibility for the shooting death of a female TV presenter and women's rights activist in Afghanistan on Thursday, an attack that underscored an increasing trend of violence against journalists in the country. Malalai Maiwand, a presenter at Enikass Radio and TV in the eastern province of Nangarhar, was killed along with her driver in the attack on the vehicle in the regional capital Jalalabad, taking the total number of journalists and media workers killed this year in Afghanistan to 10. Jihadis do not like journalists in Afghanistan. I bet they love Western journalists, though. No one defends jihadis like American and European journalists. She was on the way to the office when the incident happened, said Adaullah Khogiani, spokesman for the provincial governor. Nangarhar has been a hotbed of militant activity, most notably involving Islamic State, which issued its claim of responsibility via its Telegram communications channel, calling her a pro-regime journalist. Maiwand, who was 25, was not the first in her family to be targeted. 5 years ago, her mother, also an activist, was killed by unknown gunmen. I looked up the killing of her mother. Her mother was killed for advocating education rights for girls. She was murdered by the Taliban for claiming that girls should be allowed to go to school. Enikass has been targeted before, with its owner, engineer Zalmay, kidnapped for ransom in 2018. With the killing of Malalai, the working field for female journalists is getting more smaller, and the journalists may not dare to continue their jobs the way they were doing before, NAI, an Afghan media advocacy group, said in a statement. Last month, Elias Dai, a Radio Azadi journalist, was killed in a bomb blast in the southern province of Helmand, and Yama Siawash, a former Tolo News presenter, was killed in a similar blast in Kabul. So, ISIS is targeting journalists. ISIS is targeting women's rights activists. If you're a journalist and a women's rights activist, you are in all kinds of trouble. Entire family lines are being wiped out in the name of Allah to keep Afghanistan from ever becoming anything beyond a Sharia-compliant hellhole. But by all means, Dawah channels, tell us more about what your religion can do for us, and about how much we need your prophet and your book to teach us about morality.